Something gigantic lies deep beneath the surface of the moon, and it could change the future of humanity forever. Scientists have discovered something at the moon's mysterious South Pole, one of the least understood places in our solar system, even though it's so close to us. Make sure to stick around until the end, because afterwards you'll see the moon in a completely different light. A warm welcome to you all.
I think we fly to the moon because it's human nature to take on challenges. Neil Armstrong once said that. Feel free to write in the comments whether you would fly to the moon as an astronaut if you had the chance.
The quote certainly fits well with the discovery we're talking about today. And if you never want to miss any news from space again, why not take on the challenge and subscribe to my channel right now? Subscribing doesn't cost a thing. You'll never miss another video and you'll be helping me out as well. If you've already subscribed, giving the video a thumbs up really helps. Every like helps make sure that even more people get to see the video. Thanks, everyone. But what exactly is so special about the moon's South Pole? In 2011, NASA launched 2 space probes as part of the GRAIL mission.
This stands for Gravity Recovery and Interior Laboratory. The goal was to map the gravitational distribution of the moon. Gravity is like a magical window into the physical structure of a celestial body. Heavier elements such as uranium or gold have a stronger gravitational pull than lighter materials. The thickness of the crust also influences gravity. More mass means more gravity. Gravity maps are basically MRI scans for cosmic objects.
In 2019, a team from Baylor University in Texas examined the GRAIL data and came across an anomaly, a bloody big anomaly.
The anomaly is located in the South Pole Aitken Basin, a gigantic impact crater that was formed when an asteroid the size of a city struck the moon billions of years ago. The Aitken Basin is huge, measuring 1,600 kilometers in diameter and over 8 kilometers deep, making it one of the largest impact craters in the solar system. We have known about this crater for a long time, but what the Texas researchers discovered was completely new. Hidden beneath this enormous crater is a large lump of solid metal.
That might not sound all that spectacular at first, but this massive lump distorts the moon's gravity in that area so much that it really must be gigantic. The data shows that it's 5 times more massive than the main island of Hawaii. And that's seriously heavy. Someone really ought to convert that into football pitches, the only real unit of measurement. Such an enormous mass of metal couldn't have formed during the moon's creation.
The current theory is that it is an asteroid graveyard, the remains of a colossal asteroid with a huge metal core that once struck the moon's south pole and buried itself beneath the surface forever. But that's not all. The south pole of the moon is also special because it practically never sees sunlight. Some craters there have literally never seen sunlight since they were formed billions of years ago. And this is where it gets really exciting.
In these eternal shadows lies a treasure that changes everything. Water. For billions of years, the moon has been bombarded by countless asteroids.
And many of them contain water. According to estimates, a significant portion of the total mass of all asteroids in the asteroid belt consists of H2O. In the freezing cold of space, this usually exists as ice. And when an asteroid like this crashes into the moon's surface, almost all of the water it contains is instantly vaporized and converted into a compound called hydroxyl.
Calculations by the University of Texas showed that 97% of the water in an asteroid is lost immediately upon impact with the moon, either through evaporation or by being flung back into space.
Only a measly 3% remains in the moon's gravitational field, and most of that evaporates again when sunlight reaches it. But this is where our mysterious shadow craters come into play. The small amount of water that survives an impact usually floats as water vapor in the thin lunar atmosphere. If it escapes the heat of the sun, it can precipitate as ice in one of the shady craters at the moon's south pole, where it survives as an ice reservoir protected from the sun's rays.
And all of that just to eventually be drunk by an astronaut and then peed out again. Scientists call these shadowy craters cold traps, and they may have accumulated considerable reservoirs of ice in their rocky depths.
In 2009, NASA sent a small probe to crash into the Cabellos crater near the South Pole to see what materials the impact would eject into the atmosphere, and indeed about 5% of the ejected mass was water. So far we have not sent any rovers or manned missions to these permanently shadowed craters, but that is likely to change soon. NASA's Artemis 3 mission is scheduled to launch in mid-2027 and return humans to the moon for the first time since Apollo 17 in 1972. This time, the Artemis program hopes to establish a permanent research station, and one of its main objectives will be to explore the shadowy South Pole craters.
This isn't just a let's see what we find mission for all of humanity. As former NASA Administrator Bill Nelson publicly stated, it's a fact. We are in a space race. But this time, it's not primarily with the Russians like back then, but above all with China. China has already launched several lunar landers as part of its Chang'e mission and is also planning a permanent lunar colony.
In 2026, they plan to launch Chang'e 7, a unique probe that can hop into the deep South Pole craters and drill into ice to collect samples. If the results are promising, China wants to build its own lunar colony by 2030 in collaboration with Russia.
The problem, all the superpowers are targeting the South Pole region. The 1967 UN Outer Space Treaty does indeed prohibit nations from owning celestial bodies or making territorial claims in space in general. But as is so often the case in international law, who cares about a piece of paper when the facts on the ground tell a different story? So realistically, in the coming years, we're going to witness an international race to the moon's South Pole. And why is the moon's South Pole so valuable?
Quite simply, it is the only place on the moon's surface where we can build self-sustaining colonies with today's technology, and that is mainly due to the water ice and dark craters. Around the edge of the Shackleton crater are peaks that NASA affectionately calls the peaks of eternal light. Here there is almost full sunlight for the entire month. A solar farm there would provide a constant supply of energy for life support systems, and just a short hop away in the gloomy interior of the same crater, conditions are perfect for water ice storage.
So if you want to secure your lunar property now, then it should be in this crater. Scientists estimate that billions of tons of ice could be lurking in these craters.
Water extracted from ice can not only hydrate astronauts, but also be used for electrolysis to produce oxygen for breathing and hydrogen as rocket fuel. A cleverly placed colony could really feed itself entirely from these icy craters.
Now, of course, one might object, but why go to all this trouble? It sounds really difficult and uncomfortable. The answer is,
Hello, I like money.
The South Pole Aitken Basin represents access to a potentially trillion-dollar lunar economy, and all because of a rare isotope called helium-3. Helium-3 is often referred to as the fuel of the future because it is the most promising fuel for fusion energy. In other words, the technology that will revolutionize our world.
maybe someday. Helium-3 is extremely rare on Earth, but there's plenty of it on the moon.
In theory, a single ton of helium-3 could provide as much energy as a 10-gigawatt power plant in an entire year. That's about 88 terawatt-hours of electricity, enough to power a country like Germany for almost 2 months. Some estimates put this value at $3 to $5 billion US. In other words, if we could use it efficiently, 1 gram of helium-3 could be worth up to $1,500.
Of course, this is still a thing of the future. There are currently no commercial fusion reactors using helium-3, and the figures are based on theoretical calculations. But this shows why the superpowers have suddenly developed a keen interest in the moon's reserves. Whoever controls the supply of helium-3 on the moon controls the future of energy on Earth.
Remember all those long nights you spent admiring the moon as it displayed its silent elegance in the firmament? I bet you never thought for a moment that one day there would be an economic war over the thing.
I'll keep you updated on any further developments, so don't forget to subscribe to the channel now and remember to give it a thumbs up. Maybe we'll even hit 5,000 likes.
And now let's travel from the moon deeper into space. Researchers have discovered an ominous, gigantic structure that is pulling the Earth toward it. At this very moment, we are hurtling toward the so-called Great Attractor at an insane speed.
What is this all about? And why are we caught in the grip of this structure? Find out everything in the video at the top right.
And while you're at it, you'll find another exciting video about science and space at the bottom right. Otherwise, I'd say see you in the next video. Take care, folks.